Thank you. And now we're going to go into our next set of context setting presentations to set the stage for our second panel discussion. In this session, we will discuss the market gaps preventing decarbonization in the built environment despite the potential economic benefits and cover a range of strategies to advance energy efficiency in the built environment, including the role of policymakers, business models, innovative financing options that could enable the scaling of energy saving solutions. It is my pleasure, everyone, to invite our first presenter who flew in all the way from the Philippines. Please help me welcome Mr. Alexander Ablaza, Advisory Board, Global ESCO Network, and Co-Chair, Asia Pacific ESCO Industry Alliance. May we have you on stage to deliver your presentation, please. Mr. Ablaza? One moment, we're just going to get this rostrum, podium set up for you right here. Very efficient team we have right here. And all clean energy right here too. All right, Mr. Ablaza, please.
Thank you. Thank
Sure.
you so much, and a good morning to everyone. Let me spice out a bit. I'll skip the podium for a while and try to make energy efficiency a little more exciting. I I thank and I congratulate the Infrastructure Asia and the Sustainable Energy Association of Singapore for mainstreaming energy efficiency in the Asia Clean Energy Summit. Just the same way that ADB has mainstream energy efficiency in their Asia Clean Energy Forum. Energy efficiency can be made exciting. It's always taken the back seat to renewables. It's always the less favored sibling. But let me share with you why ESCOs, the energy service companies, can change all that. And I'd like to update you on how the ESCO market is doing globally. So I wear the hats of the Asia Pacific ESCO Industry Alliance. And I'm happy to report that we've reached out to 10 country ESCO associations, and we're registering a legal entity here in Singapore. I also sit in the advisory board of the Global ESCO Network, and its secretariat sits at the UNEP Copenhagen Climate Center. Many of you know me as having created the world's first privately owned super ESCO, and that's called Climergy. And we're mobilizing equity capital right now outside the balance sheet of ESCOs and building owners and factory owners to push cooling as a service, energy as a service, and energy savings performance contracts. Our speakers this morning all talked about 40% contribution of energy efficiency in emissions reduction. But I'd like to say that ESCOs will accelerate capital flows because they have the ability to do it outside the balance sheet of ESCOs, outside the balance sheet of building owners. And when you do that, it will just hasten investment decisions. It will make cooling retrofits, lighting retrofits, compressor retrofits, process machinery retrofits much faster. And it's, the problem with energy efficiency is that we need behavioral change. We've talked about money, and then that's fine. We've talked about structure, we talked about policy, but no one has talked about behavioral change. So if you change the business model, and if you introduce more and strengthen the ESCO delivery model, it would just accelerate that behavioral change that we need in this world. I'd like to announce that the Global ESCO Market Report for 2025 has been released. It's a joint collaboration of the Global ESCO Network and the International Energy Agency, or IEA. So if you would like to take a photo of this QR code, you can download the report for free. As we speak, we are finalizing the 2026 report, and this is something that will be uploaded perhaps when I come back for another event here in Singapore. I would be sharing the results of next year's report. The summary of the report is the global ESCO market is growing. It's growing at an average of 9%. it's still dominated by China, the largest market, and the US. Europe is the third largest market. I'd like to think that the others, which is the dark gray bar that you see, is much larger than actually you see in this bar chart, because we're not able to capture data from the other markets. And you would see that there are large markets such as China, but there are very good growing in maturity mid-sized markets such as Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, and outside ASEAN there's South Korea, all growing in volumes, all growing in number of projects. Indonesia is coming out as we'll be following soon. You know, if their Apkenindo can get together and get more ESCOs and with better access to capital, my prediction is, and I'm also involved in this, is I'd like to see Cambodia and Vietnam to be ESCO markets in ASEAN in the near future. Just to summarize the Asia Pacific, Southeast Asia is becoming a very, very interesting ESCO market. Yes, we have a growing economy, but the ESCO market is growing along with it. And we have Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, and I'd like to capture data. I'd like to see member ESCOs of the Sustainable Energy Association of Singapore perhaps report data. Maybe in the next global market survey, we will see Singapore in this. So I'd like to believe that Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, and Singapore are the fastest growing ESCO markets in Southeast Asia. And you will see a diversity of how they operate. So certain markets such as Taiwan, Malaysia, Japan, and Thailand, they have a diversity in sectoral projects. They work with government projects. They work with development funded projects. They work with private sector, commercial and industrial projects. But certain countries prefer to work with or focus their efforts on a particular sector or two. And this would be China, Indonesia, the Philippines, and the Philippines. So they prefer to work in commercial industrial. In the Philippines, for example, the rules for ESCO service procurement for government is still being crafted, but the law already allows life cycle cost-based assessment in that market. So we have this growing, but what this chart shows is there are opportunities for some markets to grow and pursue the other sectors as well. This is a chart of ESCO markets involved in single technology and those in multi-technology. Now, those that I highlighted on the left side, Indonesia and Thailand, they show a dominance of multi-technologies. That means when an ESCO comes into an industrial plant, they would look at different technologies. They would look at compressors, they'd look at cooling, they'll look at heating, they'll look at lighting and motors. Same is true for Thailand. You still see that strong dominance. But on the right side of the slide, you will see Japan, Malaysia, Philippines, South Korea, and Taiwan being dominated by single technology. So if they come in with a cooling or chiller plant retrofit, then it's a singular technology. If they come in with just motors or compressors, then it's just a single technology. So we have that market characteristic. Now, the one thing about multi-technology, just like that of the United States, for example, when an ESCO comes in and these are deeper energy savings retrofits. They come and harvest more waste energy across. They also mitigate investment risk by spreading that performance risk across multi-technologies instead of just sponsoring a singular technology. ESCO project durations vary. You know, globally, private sector contracts are typically shorter. But in certain markets such as China, Japan, and the Philippines, it's the other way around. Private sector contracts are actually longer in term. In the Philippines, 10, 12, 15 years is very, very typical. And it just so happened that in these markets, China, Japan, and the Philippines, there's greater exposure to private sector contracts rather than government contracts. And it just shows the maturity and the trust that ESCOs have on the creditworthiness of commercial and industrial clients. This shows the percentage of energy savings. Now, on the far left, you see Indonesia and Japan harvesting probably facility-wide, and it's down in the vicinity of 5 to just over 10% in savings. But in the middle group, you will see Malaysia, Taiwan, Philippines, and Thailand almost even at 30% harvesting. Many of these are single technology in it's a far contrast to UK and US on the far right, which are harvesting through multi-technology, including building envelope system and insulation. So this is just a context setting, and I look forward to the discussion later. But a few points I'd like to leave as takeaways. Number one, ESCOs will be major agents of change because it's private sector anyway that will be investing. And if you have third-party investors in commercial or industrial or government retrofits, this will just accelerate the market and mobile and deploy more and more technologies. We have we see the global disparity in single technology, multi-technology, private sector, public sector. In it's just about reaching out to the sectors that are not served. We have to knock down several financing barriers. We have to flow more equity capital, more guarantee and insurance products to de-risk projects. We need aggregation, and that's what a super ESCO does. We need aggregation. So by bundling several contracts, we're able to attract more structured debt and equity capital. So there's lots to be done. There's a lot of ESCOs to be done. Many countries still do not have ESCO accreditation systems in other sectors to pursue. So that's my last slide, and look forward to meeting you in the rest of the conference. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ablaza.